Smartphones have come a long way, with each new model claiming to be better than the last. Over the previous few years, those changes have been getting less significant as smartphones reach their peak, with little left to innovate. While I have long left the iPhone behind as a daily phone, I'd like to see a comparison between what I believe to be one of the best iPhone models and the iPhone 15 Pro. You always hear the new model is X percentage faster or more powerful than the last, but how does that transfer into the real world? The iPhone 5 box is about 2.5 iPhone 15 boxes tall, and opening the box you'll see why. Once both phones are out of the way, you can see the iPhone 15's limited accessories, consisting of just a USB-C cable, some paperwork, and one Apple sticker. The iPhone 5 on the other hand has its documentation with 2 stickers, a pair of headphones, proprietary charging cable, and power brick. It wasn't until the 5S that this box size would significantly shrink as the charger size was reduced. Each phone is running its original iteration of iOS software, that being 6.1.4 for the iPhone 5 and 17.0.2 for the iPhone 15 Pro. It was looking like the iPhone 5 was going to start up quicker, but the 15 won by quite a bit. There is 11 years between these two phones, but honestly it doesn't look like it. Despite the 15 having an OLED screen, the 5's LCD still looks absolutely magnificent, further emphasized by iOS 6's shiny glass icons. The 15 is larger in every aspect. The rear camera is about the size of the front camera on the iPhone 15. What I wasn't expecting to see was just how well the iPhone 5 would perform comparatively to the iPhone 15 Pro. When you slow things down, you can see how the 5 is ever so slightly faster to unlock as its animation is just a bit quicker. This is harder to notice with a stock app such as Settings, as newer iOS versions contain a splash screen that provides the illusion it's loaded before it's even opened. I believe the app is actually loaded when the Wi-Fi status populates and the 2 lower menu items vanish off screen, which would give the iPhone 5 a slight edge in speed. But it doesn't keep up in every scenario, most noticeably when exiting apps. When it comes to stock apps, it has an ever so slight edge. However, without the use of slow motion, the difference is negligible. So we need something a bit more challenging to really be able to see any differences. This iPhone 5 is loaded with apps and games, some of which are quite nostalgic. I thought I'd compare a few. Some didn't support 64-bit architecture or were no longer compatible with newer versions of iOS. However, not every app on the iPhone 5 works either. So I've selected a few games to try out between the phones. While many of these are not the same build, it demonstrates running the app in the time period of when each device was new. What hasn't changed are the annoying Game Center pop-ups. I thought Apple shut that down years ago. I used to play this game back when I was in year 7. The 15 did open it slightly faster, but performance seems the same. Another classic is Subway Surfers. The 15 Pro smokes the 5 in launch time. But once you're in gameplay, it runs just as well on both devices. If you're looking for a challenge, try playing on 2 phones at once. It's amazing how many of these games have remained the same for over a decade. But just because the 15 has the latest and greatest hardware doesn't mean it will always load everything faster. The iPhone 5 outperforms the 15 Pro in launching Temple Run, but this may have something to do with the app being unoptimized for this newer device. Time hasn't been so kind to all apps, with this copy of Tetris from EA having a time bomb added in an update at some point that has bricked it from working with the iPhone 15. But it continues to work perfectly on the iPhone 5 regardless of an internet connection. While some apps have stayed the same, some have changed significantly. Extreme Car Simulator has gotten quite the update over the years, so while it loads faster on the iPhone 5, the more advanced hardware in the newer models have allowed for greater graphics. There are really some classics on this iPhone 5, and you could say I got a little distracted on a couple of these apps. As for why it holds up so well when compared to Apple's flagship 11 years on, might be partly because it's never been updated. Updated software might bring new features and security patches, but you might also bring unwanted slowdowns from the software requiring more of the phone's resources to run, or even be deliberately slowed down to make the new phones appear faster. The real advantage of the newer model phone is by far the cameras. I mean, the back camera of the 5 is about the size of the front camera on the 15. And with that new hardware comes software that optimizes images to make them look better and provide more shooting modes. The 5 only has one rear camera with video, photo, and a hidden panorama mode. But there's just something about the design and feel of the iPhone 5 running iOS 6 that newer models could never match. Phones are getting more and more powerful with better cameras and bigger batteries, but the average speed hasn't changed all that much. I was not expecting the iPhone 5 running iOS 6 to be as fast as it was, but the fact it can keep up 11 years later shows just how well developed iOS 6 was. While I don't expect anyone to be running out and buying an old iPhone 5, it's been interesting to look back and see how not that much has changed over the years. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you're looking for any used devices, be sure to check out my online store, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.